Hey everybody, it's me once again. Yeah, sorry about the lack of videos lately, but I'm just the kind of guy that's like, well, I'll make videos when I choose to. In this case, I think it definitely calls for it. Just got back a little while ago from FanExpo Boston, or as I still call it by its former name, Boston Comic Con. I got a few things, and I experienced a few things. First off, I'll get the things I experienced out of the way first. I went to Wallace Shawn's Q&A. It was the last thing I did before I went home. Wallace Shawn is the little ball guy from Princess Bride. Yeah, he talked about things like being Bertram, being the voice of Bertram on Family Guy. Not Bertram from Ernest and Bertram, that Bert and Ernie parody short film that almost got the filmmakers into a lawsuit. Pretty much he talked about that and about this director friend of his called Andre Gregory. Then talked about a video game character that he did and how actors like him do not get a certain pay anymore. So it kind of reminds me of what Matthew Lillard said about how someone like him would be considered middle class compared to someone like George Clooney or Brad Pitt or Matt Damon, among others. I mean, Matthew Lillard was from a different convention, but he kind of said that same thing that Wallace Shawn did about pay and doing certain movies just because. And I also experienced, I didn't get anything from him this time because I was tight on money. Chris Sarandon, Princess Bride, Fright Night, Child's Play, Nightmare Before Christmas. Talked a lot about Dog Day Afternoon, and he I filmed a little bit of his panel, so you'll see that in a little bit in this video. It was very limited on my SD card. One of the main things that he said that I thought was really cool was how picking a favorite role that you've played is like trying to say who your favorite child is. And it's just not easy for him to say. I mean, but it was cool wording, because not many actors respond that way. And I'm sorry that I keep looking down, it's just some of the things I'm about to show you. Yeah, one is a gift for a friend of mine. Hopefully she doesn't get the surprise spoiled for her from too many people who may watch this that are mutual friends of ours. But also, I got to see a bit of James and Oliver Phelps, I think that's their names. They are best known as the Weasley twins from Harry Potter. And I got to experience the Brent Spiner Q&A. He's best known as Data from Star Trek Next Generation. He kept jokingly acted like Star Trek, what one was it again? he did a great job, a very funny job with a joke where when he came in, he introduced himself as, "Hello, it's me, Jeff Goldblum." And then he did, I can't do Jeff Goldblum well, but he like imitated him, like did a pretty close to spot on imitation. He was nothing but a jokester. He gave some cool trivia about how he was originally cast on, I don't know how many people watching this are familiar with the show Night Court. It's a sitcom from the 80s and into the early or mid 90s. It's a pretty enjoyable show with Harry Anderson, and then the guy who ultimately ended up playing the role that Brent Spiner was originally cast for, John Larroquette. Richard Mole, who some people may know best as the voice of Two-Face in Batman the Animated Series. And Charlie Robinson, or something like that, I think is the guy's name. It's something Robinson. Forgive me if I said it wrong. But yeah, though, that was pretty cool to watch. And then I just want to make sure I'm not forgetting anything else. Oh yeah, I got to see a little bit of Richard Horvitz, the voice of Invader Zim! Yeah, he was just as ecstatic and friendly as he was the first time I saw him back in 2012. But now to the autographs that I got. This next one, this is a picture I got from DeviantArt. I can't remember the artist's name, but you can easily find it by writing this actor's name and the specific comic book character's name. He thought it was pretty cool. A lot of other people who saw it when I was in line for him thought it was pretty cool. It is Billy D. Williams. Sorry if that's a little dark. To Corey, Billy D. Williams, Harvey Dent. I'll try to show that again in a little bit with better lighting. I'm sorry. But this was like a part of something that was like what Batman Forever should have been. And I have to agree. I would have loved to have seen Michael Keaton again. I would have loved to have seen Billy D. Williams as Two-Face so he would have been able to fully follow through on that character live action. And then Robin Williams as the Riddler. Marlon Wayans would have been an interesting Robin. Rene Russo as Dr. Chase Meridian. And according to a video I saw a little while ago on What Culture, Brad Dourif as the Scarecrow. He would have been amazing, in my opinion. He would have been a lot better than Cillian Murphy. I mean, I like Cillian Murphy, but I personally thought he was too young for that role. But anyway, on to the next autograph. Hopefully this one appears better on camera. But Famke Janssen, best known from things like X-Men, one of the James Bond movies, To Corey, Famke Janssen, Trillian. This is her from Deep Rising. She was very nice, but I will say, though, that I definitely think that she was, if I really had to rank the three people I saw, I'd have to put her last. She definitely didn't seem, I mean, she wasn't rude or anything. She was still nice, but it definitely seems like Deep Rising is not a favorite of hers. I really like that movie, and I thought her role was really cool. I thought everyone in that movie was cool, to be honest. But I was hoping to hear like a little bit of some behind the scenes anecdotes since they didn't get her interviewed for the Blu-ray. But to my friends who are Deep Rising fans, you guys most likely dodged a bullet. Because if they had interviewed her, we most likely would have gotten another Leviathan kind of interview. Watch the Scream Factory, get the Scream Factory Blu-ray of Leviathan to see what I mean, to those who don't know what I'm talking about. But I do know that Rambo Rat for Life and OCP Communications would definitely know what I'd be talking about if they're seeing this. Then this last one is a gift for my friend, a very sweet, adorable young lady who, if you were to meet her, you wouldn't have any idea she would like these kinds of movies. But Carrie Elwes from Saw, to Skylar, Game Over, Carrie Elwes. I'm always a man of my word. Like, when I make a promise, I keep it. I told her that I would get her any one from Saw for her, at least one autograph. And if I see a couple other people over the next so many years, like, I'll probably get her one as well, but for now I'm sure she'll be happy enough with this. I assume she'll like it. Hopefully she will. She seemed to react very favorably when I mentioned meeting Danny Glover, who was in the first Saw. And then last but certainly not least, I think this guy may have been my favorite to meet. I didn't get an autograph from him, but you'll see the picture at the end of this video. Jeff Goldblum. Yes, The Fly, Jurassic Park, and Independence Day, Jeff Goldblum. This guy was so sweet, kind, thoughtful, personable, and very silly, and very in on his sort of living meme image. But at least he's still got a strong career going. It's not like Nicolas Cage, who's thought it was funny at first, but I think it. But as I was saying, though, I'm gonna wrap this up. Jeff Goldblum, I definitely think, is very in on the joke of his sort of living meme image. Like, he says that he loves the pop figures and that he loves seeing weird naked toy replicas of himself. But it's just, he's a very kickback, laid back kind of guy. I didn't really get to say anything to him other than hello when he said hello to me when I came into the booth to take the picture with him, but I really enjoyed him. He was very nice. And now I'm going to close off with with some better lighting of the autographs and with some clips. Oh yeah, and to also quickly mention, I did ask Billy D. Williams about what his take on Two-Face would have been, and he pretty much said in a polite, straightforward way that he basically stopped thinking about it a long time ago. Like, he said to me that, because I was asking, would you have dove deep into the psychological aspects of the character, and he said that he just stopped thinking about it a long time ago, and that he didn't really have a ready answer for me. But at least that did kind of answer my many years long question. Sorry that I'm in a weird spot now, but this has got some of the best lighting in my entire room. There's the Billy D. Williams one. Famke Janssen. And then Carrie Elwes, who thought that this idea for the GIF was very sweet. Now to the clips.
Dog Day Afternoon, in one of those roles where I'm sure we all have one of those situations where there's an actor who you really like, and then only like 10 years later do you realize that, oh my God, he was Leon, and oh my God, I didn't even recognize him. And what an amazing role, particularly playing in 1975 as a transgender woman, and not as a laughingstock, not as a purse swinging, but even if I have an on Blu-ray, but you can actually go on YouTube and find some clips that I'm sure have been posted legally of your performance. And but even just watching it last night again, I was like, I have to turn this off for a bit because you speaking on the phone in the barbershop like that. But what was it like what were your thoughts when you first accepted that role?
Well, first of all, you have to understand that at the time, and for really most of my career, I'm a hired gun. I don't have a constituency. I don't have a company that I work for. That unless you're. When I first started out, I was in a theater company, and I did all the places the theater company did that year. It was a place called the Longworth Theater in New Haven, Connecticut. And then the next year, I was working at a theater company in Hartford, and I knew I had a job. And I knew that I was going to be doing 5 plays in the year, or if you were doing summer stock or whatever. But once you start becoming a professional actor in New York or in Los Angeles, you're basically, you go to auditions, is what you do. And I still audition for stuff every once in a while. I just auditioned for an animated television show that I thought, oh, this is great, I'd love to do this. And I've been doing this for, I think you said 30 years, you're being very kind. And so it was really more a matter of, it was a really good script. The script, by the way, won an Academy Award for Best Screenplay that year. It was the movie was nominated, I think, 8 times. And the screenplay won. It was the only nomination that it won an Academy Award for, and that was the year One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And Cuckoo's Nest won a lot of Academy Awards that year. So I had the pleasure of having known Sidney Lumet socially, just through mutual friends, and my ex-wife had done a movie with him, so I knew him. And then I just went in, and I knew Al Pacino, because Al's girlfriend at the time had been in a play with me, and we had worked on Broadway in a Broadway musical for about 9 months a year. So I knew Al, I'd seen him around, and so I was comfortable. And I just went in and read, and then after the audition, Sidney Lumet said something to me which was really amazing. He said, and you guys are familiar with a character named Blanche Dubois from Streetcar Named Desire, right? So Sidney looked at me and he said, that was great. He said, but this time a little less Blanche Dubois and a little more Queen's housewife. And that was the thing. That was the thing that sparked my imagination and gave me a slot for the character. Really, just immediately I knew what he was talking about.
So I'm surprised to hear that you worked with Al Pacino before, or you just knew him?
No, I knew Al through this woman, Jill Clayburgh.
And you have these intensely powerful scenes with Al, and they're all over the phone, aren't they?
No,
there's one.
I have only one scene with Al on the phone, okay. And then I have a scene with Charlie Durning and the cops in the barbershop before I talk to Al on the phone.
Right. How hard is it to deliver that sort of? But this is where if you haven't seen One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, correct that forthwith, because I will not spoil anything about it. But this is where revelations happen. This is where, my God, if you screw this up, points are just not going to land properly, and one of the biggest emotional hooks of this entire story isn't going to go. And you're
talking about Dog Day.
Excuse me?
You're talking about Dog Day.
Yes.
You said One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. How dare you? It's a lot.
I'm sorry. But you don't have Al there to play off of, even though you are essentially exchanging dialogue. What in your training helps you to do that?
Well, first of all, the circumstances surrounding the creation of the scene are really kind of interesting because the screenplay, Sidney Lumet, whom I don't know if you guys are familiar with Sidney Lumet's movies, but he directed Serpico, he directed Network, he directed a bunch of movies and he started off in the early days of television, directing live television. Live television, okay? This is, you put on a play after you've rehearsed it for a week on live television all over the country. Sidney directs movies like he's directing a play. So essentially what you do is you rehearse the movie for 3 weeks, like you would a play, which is never done in the movies. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the general way movies are made, but except for the lead up for big special effects movies where you have to arrive early and you have to do makeup stuff and you have to do special effects. Generally speaking, you walk on the set with the script and you may read through it a couple of times with the other actors. And then you go on the set and you do the scenes. And you do them over and over and over again. Sidney directs it like a play so that you walk into a rehearsal studio and all the sets are taped out on the floor. And you work through the scenes. So that when you get to the set on the day that you're actually shooting the script, you're there. You know what you're doing because you've rehearsed it. And so the first day that we rehearsed the telephone scene, Al and I sat down with Sidney at a table, and we read through the scene, and we both had the same reaction, which was, the scene is very melodramatic. And when two characters who've known each other for years, and you guys have been, everybody here has been in a relationship, you go through, it ebbs and flows, right? It's not all like that. And so one of the things that we thought was at the beginning of the scene, they're yelling at each other right away, right? And we said, there's melodrama here. This is a guy who's inside a bank, he's got hostages, he's got a boyfriend/girlfriend who's in the hospital, who they've had a horrible, horrible time together. We knew sort of all the background. And he arrives and they're on the phone together. What do you say? You don't say, you son of a bitch, you got him, you did it. You say, hey, how you doing? What's going on? Oh, I don't know. Oh, this is happening. You kind of catch up if you haven't seen the person for a while, whatever the relationship is. And Sidney went, wait a minute. Somebody get a tape recorder. And so we proceeded to quote, unquote, improvise the scene. When I say quote, unquote, it's because what we did was we took all the elements from the scene that had been written, but we just moved them around a bit. We started the scene, like I say, with, hey, well, yeah, you doing? I don't know. This is killing me. It's killing me, Leon. And then you get into the melodrama of the situation in a kind of elliptical way, rather than like that. And so we improvised the scene, and we finished it, and we thought, we talked about it, and we said, oh, well, we left this out from the original scene, and that's important information. Let's do it again, and we'll put that in. And then we did it again, and then we thought, well, let's transcribe it. And so somebody taped the scenes, and we did it like 4 or 5 times, different versions, and then we all got together. I remember the meeting. We got together in the producer's office, Marty Alfon and Marty Bregman, and Al and me, and the screenwriter, and we just decided which was the best version, and that's the version we ended up doing.
It's just incredible. And also,
very collaborative.
There's also, I also wanted to ask, before we move on, I can believe me, if nobody showed up, I would have enjoyed having a 45-minute conversation about the afternoon. But I just, since we're still in the scene, what about Charles Durning? Because in the presence in that scene, he is this big, not only is he Charles Durning, but he's also the menacing threat against Leon, saying that, no, you're an accessory to this, whether you like it or not, so you're going to help out. He doesn't really have a line in this, but as soon as they cut to that two-shot where you just see him hulking over Leon, what was his role in that? Even when he's not on was he still present there?
Always. Yeah. Charlie Durning was a great professional. You guys remember the movie Tootsie?
Yeah.
Charlie Durning was the father of Jessica Lange in that movie, and he's the cop in Dog Day Afternoon. Yeah.
Just amazing stuff. We're going to open up for Q&A in just a minute, so if you have questions, why don't you line up at that microphone over there. While we wait for people to get their courage up, there's always the first person who has the first penguin off the ice floe before the library forms. I'm just going to ask one last question.
Sure.
Again, they're actors, I love their individual performers. You notice we've gotten this far without even talking about Princess Bride, because that would be hour 3 of my drink conversation with you. And also, I imagine the people in the audience who will cover that. But you've also had this wonderful career on the stage in Broadway. You were one of the leads in Nick and Nora.
Right.
A soundtrack I enjoyed. I didn't get the chance to see it.
Oh, wow. One of 3 people.
Oh, gosh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that.
30 people.
Yeah, I'm in Boston, which means that by the time I get someplace, unless it is a 6-month run, and, I've had tickets refunded.
And we were going very quickly.
Yeah. That was an interesting idea. It was the Thin Man movies as a musical,
right.
And you have these incredible characters. And as soon as I heard about your casting, I didn't really have an opinion one way or the other whether it was a good idea or not. But then you hear, I would totally believe him as Nick Charles.
But I wasn't Nick Charles. Excuse me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I was a character named, that's your second.
Okay.
I played a character named Victor Moisa, who's a kind of union organizer, kind of sleazy character, but a love interest for me.
Like comforting. Like comforting.
There you go.
But I really wanted to lead up to one of the things that's all buzz in Broadway is that there's a new stage Broadway musical version of King Kong that's going to be opening this season. And you've had some experience in a King Kong related production, musical comedy, was it not?
Oh my God.
It ran. I'll make sure I don't make my third mistake. You played Bench Killer in a show called
Censored Scenes from King Kong.
And would you like to synopsize it, or I have a synopsis?
I have no way of synopsizing it. It was such a confusing. We lasted. In fact, the reviews for that show, I remember the cast was an amazing cast. It was Carrie Fisher, me, a guy by the name of Peter Riegert, Stephen Collins, and another one named Alma Cuervo, and I think Glenn Close was in it for about 10 minutes, and then she got another show and went on to the other show. And we lasted literally for a week. And our agents got bad reviews for allowing us to do the show.
I hope this won't be a triggering incident, but here's the synopsis.
Thank you.
In the play, Stephen, a young investigative journalist, recently awakened from a 2-year coma, parentheses, he thinks he's been away in Japan, in parentheses, goes in search of a rumored missing scene from the classic 1933 movie King Kong, in which the gorilla has sex with Fay Wray. Now do you want to see this?
I have a feeling that's really piqued a lot of people. Yeah, it was a great experience, and I ended up with a friendship with Carrie, with Steve, with the whole cast, and the director, who's still a dear friend of mine. So, who knows?
So it's big, even if it only lasted 5 performances,
exactly.
Experiences,
and what was also interesting about it was that Carrie's mom, Debbie, because we had 3 people in the audience by the 3rd performance, because the reviews were so bad, she would come on before the show and say, "Now, everybody, these kids are really working hard up here, so give them a chance, okay?"
I understand that your parents also designed the costumes and painters on the background.
Close. Right.
We now have a nice line. Let's start off the Q&A.
What's your name?
I'm Cameron.
Hi, Karen.
My question is, what was the funniest thing that happened on set, or the most awkward thing that happened on set?
Of?
The Princess Bride.
Oh, the funniest thing? That would be hard to describe. Not because it was something slightly pornographic, but because it wasn't.
Only slightly, I'm disappointed.
No, it wasn't. Mainly because we just had a really good time making the movie. So a lot of the funny things were happening sort of all the time. You know, Chris Guest and I traveling in the car on the way to the set doing pun limericks. Walking in the hallways of the castle in North Derbyshire, South Yorkshire, around Sheffield, is where we shot it. And walking down the halls and suddenly hearing four guys singing doo-wop. True. Rob, Mandy, Chris Guest, and I can't remember who else. Kerry's not here, so he wouldn't remember. Anyway, there were all kinds of sort of anachronistic things going on, obviously. But it was a real fun show and shoot. We had a great time. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Karen.
Next question. Introduce yourself and ask your question.
Hi, my name is Jonathan. My question is, when it comes to like voice acting and actual acting, what goes through your mind? Is it a different process?
Yeah, voice acting and theater and film acting, it's essentially the difference between, I mean, I sort of like to think of it as being the way I acted when I was a kid is animated film acting, which is that everything is kind of exaggerated and heightened, but not necessarily unreal. That it's still, you're imbuing the character with as much reality for that character as you can, considering that he's a skeleton, a walking skeleton, who has some psychological problems. You know, it requires a leap of imagination to do that. And so, when you're doing film acting, stage acting, I mean, you're essentially, you know, you're in human form, and you have to present a kind of human reality. You don't have to worry about that with animation, and so it's in a way a chance to kind of expand and go for the rafters all the time. Thanks, Jonathan.
When John Houseman founded the Juilliard School of Acting, one of the questions that he got was, how come there's no classes in film acting, there's no classes in television acting? And he said, I'm not going to take John Houseman, but he basically said, acting is acting, and that's how we're going to teach it. Do you think that's still true?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, you know, you can take chances on making things very small on film, because that's the medium. You know, the camera's right there, and you can talk like that. You can't do that on stage. You just can't. It's not, you know, one of the requirements of being a stage actor, although very often now, everything is mic'd. So you don't have to really worry about the acoustics in the hall, but still, it requires a certain articulation, and, you know, with film it's not so important. It's still important, to me.
How difficult is it when you have one of these small moments that in a movie, you know that you're going to get a close-up or a single, and you can really do something subtle with it, but you know that there are people who've got the cheap seats who are not going to see you, that little knot in your brow. How do you sell that kind of emotion without seeming like you're being hysterical?
You have to project it in as real a way as you can. I don't know how else to describe it. You know from the size of the room what you have to do.
It's fun, and I like to see what people make, and people have already today given me drawings that they've made of me, which I appreciate and I really get a kick out of. But really the most fun thing is meeting all of you. It really is fun that it allows me to, being a little known and appreciated here and there, allows me to come here and see people who have enjoyed what I've done and say hello to them and take pictures with them and sign things, and I really enjoy it. I really enjoy it.
It's so fun. And they absolutely love you, obviously.
I love them. I love you very, very much.
And online on Instagram, and we talk about this often, and I see you do it, you're always on Instagram looking at hashtag Jeff Goldblum. So if you guys are posting photos, he sees them all. Look.
Oh yeah, we've done this before. Even when we get a break, I say, let's see, who did I take a picture with, and what have they posted on it? And I do. I spend too much time on it, but you know, I don't know. I'll look for it. Here it is. Where's my Instagram? Anyway, you know how this goes. There it is. There it is. Oh. say. And Alan Grant was like that. Wow, what an adventure. You look fantastic, Jane. Beautiful. Is this the kind of thing you wear all the time, man?
Sometimes. That and the Sith robe from Star Wars.
So that's Rogue from Star Wars. I'd like to see you in both of those things. I give this a 10 out of 10 gold.
10 out of 10 gold globes. Right there. Jeff, we have Taylor. Taylor here. Look.
What's your name, Taylor? Hello, Taylor.
Hi.
Hello. You are dressed as Ellie Sattler, played by Laura Dern. I remember the day I came on the set. Yes, you were just like that. Remember? Here. You know that scene here in Put Up Scene where I took that glass of water and I said, here's chaos theory, my darling. Something like this. With your hand, you have skin that's very, very soft.
You are shaking like a leaf, my dear. What are you doing to this young lady, Joe?
She gets a 10 out of 10 gold globes, definitely.
All right. Get over here. Sophia, we know who this is.
The great Grandmaster, I bow to you, Grandmaster. What's your name? Hello, Sophia. You look absolutely beautiful. Yes, look. Yes, see, look. These are exactly the color of my nail polish I had on my nails, and I had them on my toenails, too. I see that yours are unvarnished at this point, but there's always more you can do. I remember the day we said, gee, I think I'll have that blue thing right there. You've got it. Yes. And blue eyeliner. You look fantastic. 10 out of 10 gold globes. Absolutely.
I don't know what it is, but I want whatever power you have, where they just do this. All they do is this.
When I look at myself in the mirror, that's what I do. I start mesmerizing myself.
Dr. Grant! Dr. Grant is here to
Wait a
see
minute, there's
you.
another Dr. Grant. This is also, but she's three characters in one. She's Dr. Grant and a T-Rex and a Velociraptor. Wow. Oh, and they're eating each other. Always a good sign. And your fingernails, speaking of which, are a beautiful gothic black. Oh, a nice mix, a nice touch on that thing. And I like your sandals, your Birkenstock sandals, and you've got a nice Grandmaster kind of light blue, Robin blue. An excellent combination of many characters. I give you 10 out of 10 gold globes.
Too kind. Mrs.
Wow.
Madison is here to see you.
Quite frightened. What is this? What is this? You are, what's your name?
I'm Mrs. Domino.
Mr. Zelmano?
Domino.
Domino. Wait a minute. Domino, the assassin played by Keira Knightley? No, that's a different Domino. Which Domino are you?
There's different types. Yeah, it's from the X-Men.
From the X-Men, yes. Yes. I like it very much. Look at you.
Yeah.
Black and white with a black. Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, that's a definite 10. What is this? What sort of instrument is this? What can you do with this?
It just lights up. I had to draw the lighter.
It's very, very beautiful. I give you a 10 out of 10 gold globes. Thank you. This is like graduation day, high school graduation. 10 out of 10 gold.
But, so I just don't have that interaction when I come here, I do. And it's really refreshing and great thing to, know the people we're making the movies for.
Yeah. Well, and it is actually kind of refreshing that you're not on social media, because it's a great place that can also be dark and full of terrors.
Yes. And like I said, I'm a little sensitive, so if people would say negative things about me, I think I would just not be able to sleep.
Really?
Yeah, I don't want to hear it. I'm
Well,
just gonna live in my little bubble. It's very
yeah.
nice and safe.
Is it something that comes up when you're talking about new projects about, is that part of the conversation, the casting process now, social media?
Apparently very much is, and every day when, I wake up and I go, wow, I'm still working, knock on wood, even though I don't participate in social media and I don't do that much publicity and press, I'm very grateful for every job that comes along where I'm allowed to just, live my life the way that I choose to, and still work regardless. But yeah, it's very much part of the casting process, how many Twitter followers you have or Instagram.
My name is Siobhan. Nice to meet you guys. I was wondering if you guys have any funny stories from set.
Yeah, we do, yeah.
Cool. Want to share?
Yes, I... Go on. Oh, okay. No pressure now then. I don't know about... Yeah, there are some funny stories. Basically, we just like to do quite a few pranks when we were on set, because when you're there for 12 hours a day, there's quite a bit of waiting around, especially when you'll go down in the morning. If you're doing one scene a day, you'll go down in the morning, you'll set up for one scene, shoot it, go back, wait a couple of hours, come back down doing it. So it's a bit boring in that regard. So we go with a few ways to entertain ourselves. One was we learned that every trailer when you're on location had the same TV in every, and we learned that every remote worked for every TV. So we actually did a trick which my dad told me about years and years ago, where we were sitting down, I think it was in Rupert's room, or so, I'll say Rupert for an example. And so we said to him, you can change the TV by jumping on the spot. Really, we had the remote in our pocket, but so you jump on the spot, and if you raised your arm, the volume went up, and the volume went down. So that was quite a little thing to get done by.
Had the parts, and you were, and you read the books that had just come out. Saw what happened to your characters. How did you react to that?
At first, I thought this is terrible. And then I kept reading and thought, could be a lot worse. So yeah, because I played George, so yeah. And I was kind of in shock at what happened, and then I was even more in shock with how in shock I was that I was in shock, if that makes sense. Because I didn't realise how attached I'd become to the character. But luckily, I think the last book came out after we just wrapped on the 5th movie. So I knew we had 3 movies left to do, so I was lucky enough to still be able to act as Fred for a couple more years to come.
Did you actually have to seek, did you
So we are live in the FanExpo in Boston. How many people here, James? There's quite a few people here. Brilliant. So hello everyone. How cool is that? So literally all we do, you stop that, record that, and then click publish. Upload a photo and off it goes, and then you can reply with your own voice to it as well. So it's not just a text comment. So it's called Lemur, Limor, as in a little animal. So yeah, guys, check it out. It's really cool.
All right.
Hi there. I was.
Any fans in the room of a little show called Doctor Who? Let me see. How about Battlestar Galactica? So say we all indeed. Right, hold on a second. How many people here have not seen Battlestar Galactica? You've got homework. It's the best sci-fi show ever written. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end, and you haven't watched it. It wasn't cancelled. It told the story in its entirety. The network begged the creators to run another year or 2 years. Wouldn't do it. And you haven't watched it. It's West Wing in space. It's brilliant. What's wrong with you people? You only saw nerds and you haven't seen Battlestar? Put your hands up again, those who haven't seen it. Okay, it's on Amazon Prime. It's on Hulu. No, just get out. I don't care. It's on everything. Get out. You're not fans. You don't have an excuse anymore. You're not fans. I feel like maybe a certainly named Supernatural because it will not die.
No.
I'm dead. Spoilers for, what are you, a year and a half? 2 years ago?
Warehouse 13 too.
Everybody's up to speed. From sort of 68 to 78, roughly. I mean, you know, all the way from, you've got every sort of placeholder in there, from Easy Rider to Jaws to Blade Runner. If you look at the gamut of stuff that's there, which are all interesting forms of the storytelling that we do. So yeah, it just doesn't matter what it was just everything really. Fascinating. Music's always had that